everyone, and welcome to Groove Builders, the show where we create and craft together. I'm your host, Disorderly Cone, and in this episode, we're going to be attempting our very first painting on the show. And not just any painting, it's those really cool paint by numbers you've been seeing advertised all over the internet. Now, I don't know about you groovers at home, but for me personally, I haven't seen these kits since I was in elementary school, so it's been a very long time. Groovers, will these be anything like I remember, or will it be a completely different game? Let's check it out together on the workbench.
Groove Builders, welcome to the workbench. Now, this being a painting, we don't really want to mess up our nice mat here, so we're going to go ahead and just take this away, just like that. Oh look, it's our old cutting mat. Very cool. We're actually going to keep this one around because in the future, we're going to do some other really cool paper crafts. So we're going to take this away here too, because we don't get any paint on this. Ah, nice, bare wood. Now, this should be pretty easy to clean if we get any paint on it. Now, what do we get when it comes to our kits? There's all different kinds of kits online that are offered through ALLJArt, like this one here and this one here. All of these are very different and come with different kinds of paint and materials, so always make sure that you look through the description to make sure you're getting everything that you need. Now, my kit came with a frame as well as some paints and canvas, so let's go ahead and take a look at those. First off, this is my canvas. And oh my gosh, it's a little bit bigger than I thought it was going to be, although I should just looked at the dimensions. It would have been, a little less surprising. Here's our paint, and here are all the other accessories. There's quite a few things here. We have a sticker that we can apply somewhere to take a look at to get any kind of color reference, which is very useful, I'm assuming, later on down the road. Looks like we have a black and white printout of all of our numbers, also to assist us with any paint numbers that might get a little messed up with some other paint. Our paint brushes, which if you look at them, they're okay. They don't look to be the best, so if you want to get your own, that might be a good idea. We'll put that to the side. We'll test them out too. And then we have some pins. Now, these pins are for our frame, which I've already gone ahead and built earlier, so let me show you guys that. And this is our frame, which is a little bit too wide right now to put into frame. But one thing I want to show you guys really quickly is that these are made really badly, or at least the one that came in my kit. So if you're questioning on buying the frame or not, I would say actually wait and go ahead and maybe build one at home or find something else to mount it on, because these ones here are really flimsy. I had to do a lot of sanding just to be able to fit it into the 4 different joints here that come with it. So again, if you're on the fence about buying a frame, I would say pass on the one that they come with and get your own at like a Michael's or some other kind of Hobby Lobby store. Okay, Groove Builders, one more thing before we go and attach our canvas onto our frame. All of the stuff you see here came in that package you saw earlier, and because of that, my canvas was folded, which is a huge no-no. I had to go through and iron everything you see here, and for the most part, all the wrinkles are out. But if you're looking at ordering one of these kits, I think it's very important to know if they come rolled or folded, because if you had a really big canvas that's folded, you might have some really unsightly lines in it, and that could affect the end product. But enough of that. Let's see if we can get this canvas attached onto our frame. Holding it as tight as we can, we're going to place one pin right into the frame. Just like this, through the canvas. Boom. Now, once all of this is secure all the way around our frame, we can fold these sides like this and put them up into our frame here. And we'll secure them just like that. Now, all of our corners will look exactly the same. It can get really nice and uniform. And if everything is done right, we should have a really nice taunt canvas. Boom, just like that. We got our picture all framed and ready to paint. Now, Groovers, I'm not gonna lie, this was a mission to get done. I had to put a lot of strength to be able to get all of this stuff into the proper places. And I'm not gonna lie, there's a couple of places that do overlap the border side, like right here on this edge. You can see right here. And it goes all the way up to the corner here at the top. And at the top, let me see if I can get that on camera for you though, on the top here. So I'm gonna have to get very creative on how to cover this edge up. And I think I'm just gonna do it with some extra paint and try to bleed these edges a little bit all the way around. We'll see how it looks. If it doesn't look very good, we'll have to figure out something though. All right, Groovers, let's open up our paint and take a look at them. Our paint. And if you look very closely, Groove Builders, it looks really dry. But it's not, because it comes in this vacuum seal package. And in fact, all the paint in here is just really thick, which is something that I learned from this YouTube channel here. If at any point in time we find the paint too thick to work with, we're going to add a little bit of water to it. Not too much, just maybe 1 or 2 drops, and that should thin the paint just enough for us to be able to work with it. Alright Groovers, let's crack this stuff open and begin our painting, starting with the color black.
Alright Groove Builders, we did it! We successfully completed our paint by numbers, and I must admit, this looks really nice, especially with all the detail and color. Now Groove Builders, if you're looking to do this at home, there are a few things you want to know. Let's talk about those things in construction. My first point when it comes to these paint by numbers is about the frame on the back. The frame on the back is a real pain in the butt to get together, and oftentimes you're going to find yourself sanding or even using a lot of pressure to try to get the thing together. Groove Builders, if you can and don't need to buy the frame and you can do it at home, do it at home. It's not worth the time. And going forward, if I get another one of these paint by numbers, which I think I might, I don't think I'm going to get the frame. I'm going to try to do it a different way and see how that turns out. My second point about our paint by numbers is the tools that you get with the kit. They aren't very good, those three paintbrushes, and to be totally honest, the first thing I did when I saw them was go out and purchase my own paintbrushes. The ones that I ended up getting were the Vienna No. 1 rounds, and these worked extremely well to get in all these detailed areas. Now Groove Builders, it's very important that when you're buying paintbrushes to make sure that you're buying the appropriate brush for the paint that you're using. This being an oil paint, I made sure to get oil brushes. The brushes that come with the kit, if you're looking to use those, fall apart extremely quickly, and what I ended up finding was that some of the hairs got into the paint, which kind of took away from the effect. So Groove Builders, definitely look into getting some new paintbrushes. And for my third and final point, I want to talk about paint distribution. Now, Groove Builders, the paint that comes with this painting is pretty good and really thick, which is useful for covering up all these lines and numbers that we're painting over. Now, when it comes to some of our lighter colors, you are going to have to use more paint. But I never found myself putting water into my paint to make sure that I had enough to cover the entire canvas. Groove Builders, if you can avoid doing that, I would recommend avoiding it. Only because you don't want to make your paint so thin that your numbers and lines show through. Just remember, at the very end of your painting, whatever you have done is how it looks. And if something's a little bit too thin, it's going to be noticeable. And with that being said, Groove Builders, let's move on to build time. Whew, Groove Builders, this build took a long time to complete, about 20 hours in total, and the majority of that time was me going over the painting once I was completed to make sure I had gotten all the areas and really made sure that all those light colors were nice and dark. This can take some time, but Groove Builders, if you apply that much love to your painting, it really does come out looking nice. And finally, Groove Builders, my thoughts. Paint by numbers. Groove Builders, who would have known that I would have had this much fun with this painting? To be totally honest, when I was being recommended to take a look at these, I really didn't know what to expect. Just like anyone else out there, of course I've done these when I was in school, but as an adult with an entirely different perspective on things, I didn't really think I was going to have as much fun as I really did. Groovers, the end product on this is really nice, and I think that some other paintings out there are definitely in my future. If you're on the fence out there if you should buy one of these or not, I would say go ahead and do it. You won't regret the time that you put into it, and also at the very end, you'll be left with something really nice. Alright, Groove Builders, that brings us to the end of our show. I had a really good time painting this paint by numbers with you, and if you guys had a good time, don't forget to press that like button. For more videos like this, hit subscribe as well, as we got all kinds of really cool content coming out in the future. Until next time, Groove Builders, keep building. Now I just gotta convince K9 to put this into the kitchen.